Portland Public Schools Superintendent Guadalupe Guerrero made the announcement on Twitter Thursday morning. He wrote, quote, "The time is now with new proposed investments in direct student supports, social workers, counselors, culturally specific partnerships, and more. I am discontinuing the regular presence of school resource officers at Portland Public Schools. We need to re-examine our relationship with PPB." In a memo that he sent to his leadership team, he said in part, "Holding firm to our values of racial equity and social justice, my recent public statements re-emphasized this prioritizing of our students of color." Mayor Ted Wheeler says the decision to remove school resource officers is needed.
I'm committed to doing everything I can to disrupt the patterns of injustice. This, right now, is about the community telling us what they need. Commissioner Hardesty, in particular, has advocated long for this reform.
In a press release, Portland police say they are committed to listening to the community and adapting as needed to best meet their expectations. Back in 2018, Portland Public School Board members voted to increase the amount of time that school resource officers spent on campus from 3 days a week to 5 days. And that decision back then got pushback.
We're incredibly disappointed that the board really didn't take this opportunity to listen to student voices. Personally, I'm really uncomfortable with the idea of a gun being in a school, whether it's on an officer or not.
Now in 2020, the decision to remove those officers is also getting pushback. On Facebook, many of the comments we saw are from people who disagree with the move and are worried about school shootings. Montana Howell writes, "Hope they personally charge or sue the people who voted on this the next time there's an emergency that could have been stopped by the officer." Holly Anderson says this is hands down one of the, if not the biggest mistake that they could ever make. But there are people who support the decision. Tanner Casey says good. Police in schools routinely makes for a miserable experience for anyone that isn't white. Seeing the way that police behave, I wouldn't trust them to be anywhere near kids. And on Twitter, Vivian Satterfield said, "This is precisely how we need your leadership as superintendent. The time is indeed now." Christine Pitowanich, KGW News.